Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Friday morning. We said it all throughout the Handicappers Report. I'll say it again. Gorgeous morning here at Saratoga. If you're headed up, you will enjoy your day. A little bit funky yesterday with a torrential downpour. It was fairly brief, but it came down for a while up here, knocking the races off the grass. But again, it was brief, and the rest of the day was fine. And now we're sunny, a little breeze, so we're on the turf today. Should be a really, really nice Friday. And we will talk about that and more as we progress. Coming up a little bit later on, I mentioned on the handicapping show, I had two videotaped interviews from the winner's circle that have been sitting, on my desk for a couple of weeks now, and I wanted to get them out before they just became stale. But on Whitney Day, nice interview with Chad Brown in the winner's circle. He talked about how much the Whitney victory meant to him with his family, and he talked about Sierra Leone and what the future might hold, going forward. Jockey Club, is that a possibility? So it's a nice interview with Chad, talking about some various things. And as I say, I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and I wanted to plug it in. And then the next day, Javier Castellano broke his he had a streak where he wasn't getting in the winner's circle of about a month. And for him, that was a little bit unusual. And it was interesting to hear him address that. He won the stake the day after the Whitney on Bring the Band Home. And he was kind of humble and said, boy, I've never had a losing streak like this, but you just have to keep plugging. And it was interesting. So again, I wanted to show that as well. So the next segment, we have a couple of tape pieces, and then we'll be joined by our friend Keith McCalmont from the New York Racing Association. He's in the press office, has been there for a while, but he used to be our man up at Woodbine when we made our trip up there every year to do some remote broadcasting. And so I thought we'd bring Keith in to talk a little bit about, obviously, the season up here at Saratoga, but also some ideas, the King's Plate, maybe more on tomorrow's card up at Woodbine. So all that coming up. But happy to start the show with our friend Kim Weir from Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga, because they have a fun event coming up that you will want to put on your calendar. I can vouch for that because I was at the similar event last year, and it's a lot of fun. Kim, good morning.
It is so nice to be here, Seth. Happy Friday. Saratoga, the best place on earth to be.
And incredibly, I was thinking as we were driving in this morning, I'm going to be August 15th, and it's the first Kim visit. That's crazy.
Oh, well, I'm very grateful to be here. It's always such a fun opportunity to talk about whatever's going on, and there's been a lot going on this summer. It's been a great year, and we're not done. We're trying to slow it down so that we can enjoy each of these days before they're over.
Yeah, you have to make the most, particularly when you get to this point. You have to really, as you say, enjoy each day, take it all in, because it won't be too long before we will be longing for that hot, humid weather. Yes. Bring that humidity back in about a month, we'll be saying. But let's just start out. We've had you in before talking about Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. But let's start out because I have a little bit of video. I think this was from 2 years ago, the visit at the farm. Yes. Pulled up some video. And I say 2 years ago because we'll see the barn under construction.
But it was last year.
Was it only last year?
It was only last year,
okay.
My friend.
Yeah. When I pulled it up, I was trying to think.
Yeah.
But regardless, I was out for a visit, and you gave a nice tour. And again, there was the barn that was under construction that you said like a week after I left, the Amish crew had completed.
It was amazing. It remains amazing to me, but it was like 3 weeks, and we have a beautiful arena that you need to come back and visit.
Yeah, absolutely. But fill us in. Yeah. Again, it was a fun visit to the farm, and just fill us in on Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga and the mission.
Well, it has been a joy for me to be there. I've been there about a year and a half now. And Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga, it is about 4 miles east of town. So among my favorite things is that it's just so darn close, and it is accessible so that we can share horses with people, which is, I think, what my purpose on earth might be. So what we do, our mission is simple. We are taking care of a herd of 27 beloved horses each of whom was bred to be a racehorse. We have both thoroughbreds and standardbreds, so it's a mixed herd, about half and half. All of them were brought into this world to be racehorses, but they've all reached a point in their lives where they could no longer do that job and or the other jobs they've done since then. We are a home for responsible retirement, so we are folks who owners have done the right thing. They've placed them with us. And then the second thing that we are in the mission and the business of doing is to share the horses with the community in ways that improve the mental health and wellness of the whole community. Thus our name, Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. We use them in equine assisted psychotherapy. That's our primary program, which is pairing the horses with mental health practitioners and helping individuals, families, children, veterans. But we also do a lot of programs to share with the community more broadly beyond the therapy. We also have programs for school groups and field trips and team building with corporate groups. And then there's a really fun one, which I think we need to book you for, Seth. It's called Horseplay, where you just come out and spend an hour with the horses, heart to heart, eyeball to eyeball. And it's amazing what happens when a horse looks you in the eye.
I'm good for that. And I'm trying to think when it was. A few months ago, time must have been, but we were at Principessa, and there was a whole group there, and you had the great video that kind of talked about, various organizations that connect horses to humans, and it's definitely a thing. When you hear the people that have been affected, you realize horses and humans are a thing. The old Winston Churchill, the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a human.
It is. And I like to just, in the spirit of the geekiness that I am, throw back even further to Alexander the Great and Bucephalus. How's that for a Scrabble word
I'm
or something?
impressed.
Yeah. Anyway, I did my 10th grade history paper on Bucephalus because I've been like this a long time. And the truth is the connection between horses and humans is millennia old. It is not just a horse racing thing. It is not even just a Winston Churchill thing. It's literally two species that have been linked together since time began. And when we at the farm give people the chance to re-examine that or rediscover that, it's just really, really, really fun. So it is a joy to do what we do, and we love talking about it.
Yeah. As we were watching the video, it's probably worth mentioning, just because some people maybe aren't horse people, but the covering in the summertime.
Oh, yes.
It's a fly mask, right?
It is, yes. Yeah. I always say the horses are not wearing blindfolds. Yeah. Do not be afraid. I'd rather describe it as their own personal screened-in porch. Like if my husband could wear one of these things, he would, because he is the man who attracts all the bugs. So it is. It's a fly mask. They also sometimes wear fly
mesh.
boots.
They see through it.
They see right through it, just like a screened-in porch, and it keeps the flies off their eyeballs. They do look a little bit like aliens, and they don't really love them, but they love them better than the flies.
Yeah. And I just thought that was worth explaining for folks who may not be familiar, because they were kind of all wearing them, and they're not blindfolded out there. They see through it, and as you say, better than not. Also have a graphic here with the website, the Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga website. And if folks want more information or want to find out how they can plug in and get the visit or take advantage of horseplay, I'm assuming go there. And also worth mentioning, I assume you also welcome volunteers.
Oh my gosh, we run on volunteers. Whatever the world runs on Duncan, but we run on volunteers at Therapeutic Horses Saratoga. We have an incredibly hardworking, amazing staff, but with 27 horses and 27 acres and literally hundreds and hundreds of people coming to the farm like on a monthly basis, we love our volunteers. Volunteers help in the office. They help with horse care. They help with farm chores. They help in the community with events. We love them. And that is right there on our website too, under the contact us. So please consider that if you've got some time.
Yeah, and again, if you're a horse person, well, and I'll ask you that too, because a lot of the organizations, if you're a horse person, that would be fun for you, perhaps, to go out and such a social activity, maybe meet some new people that are like-minded. But I would assume most organizations, if you're not comfortable around horses, you can probably find something for those people to do as well.
Yeah, that's we actually it's arguably more important at our farm that you're really good with people, because we are a farm that is sharing horses with people, all sorts of people from all walks of life. So we actually really love people. But if you are a horse person, you're going to enjoy it. And if you also like cats, dogs, the occasional goat, it is a wonderful place to spend time.
Excellent. And as I say, I was out for the tour last year. As they say, time all goes, but that was a lot of fun to walk through and kind of see things. Reason we had you in here today was because coming up in about 10 days from now, it's Pickle for the Ponies, and again, I was at the event last year. I think we have a little videotape from the event last year to give you an idea, but just talk about this year's event coming up that will benefit Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga and the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund.
Yeah, well, we are so tickled to do this again. Last year was, in fact, the inaugural year, and we loved you being there, and we're so grateful that you captured the action on film. The fun thing about this event is that it is really designed to do what we do for a living, which is to make people, feel better and have fun. And so we have discovered that the horse racing world loves pickleball. The jockeys love pickleball, the trainers love pickleball, and so we hosted this last year, and this year we bring it back. Largely, I'd say by popular demand. From the minute we got back on the golf cart this early summer, we had folks like Katie Davis saying, "When's the pickleball? Is it happening?" And there are some folks out there on the backstretch who are either ready to defend their title or to reclaim the title they were stolen from them last year. But Dale Romans and Tammy are incredibly involved in this. Ramon and Sharon Dominguez, who are on our board, are really our co-chairs and spiritual leaders for the pickleball.
Yeah, Sharon gets into it in the video here.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, it's very fun. And the idea is really to have fun. Like, I want everyone to know that we are certainly excited to raise awareness of the Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga and our friends at Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund. Any dollars that come in through player fees and sponsorships, or we have a thing called Pony Up. Even if you can't come, you can just throw some dollars, and we're splitting everything with our friends at PDJF 50-50. But the real idea is to get the community together, which is why we love summer in Saratoga so much, is it just brings us all together to spend time together. And so Monday, the 25th, this is Monday after Travers, but we got a little bit of time. It is right here in town, a couple blocks away at the Saratoga Springs Rec Center, walkable from anywhere in town. And it's a really family-friendly event. It's 4 to 7. We're going to have an ice cream truck, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And we would love to have you there. If you're watching, just join us. Bring the family, bring the friends. We're going to do a suggested donation of $25 to attend. If you'd like to play, and I am looking at you, pickleball players, there are 8 spots remaining to play. It's $250 to get on the court, but you are getting on the court with a world-class athlete and or world-class trainer, toe to toe, I was going to say hoof to hoof, or at least paddle to paddle. If we have 9 teams, and we'd love to have folks come out. It was really fun last year. And
you saw in the video Dale Romans and Tammy Fox. Rudy was there. I know Ramon is an avid, and these jocks and trainer, they're competitive.
Very.
Yeah.
Not a little,
yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Don't think you're going to go out and if you play, don't think, oh, hey, I got the trainer. I'll show them.
Oh my gosh. No. And look out for Rick Schosberg. I mean, he's coming for whoever's on the other side.
And some of these guys, I think, are like Ramon. I know plays pretty regularly.
Yeah. We do have levels. I should just explain. There are 3 levels. There's advanced, intermediate, and beginner, and you're going to be asked to choose your level. And then there's 3 teams at each level. So you are going to be playing against a team that is matched at the same level that you are. And my friend Enzo Torino, who's our awesome new colleague who's organizing the tournament structure, he told me to use the World Cup analogy, and that it starts with a group class, and then we go into brackets, and it's really well organized. And so there are 9 celebrity teams, and those are all full. They are chock full of celebrities, trainers, and jockeys. And then there are 9 public. Everybody, you and me, we would be a really terrible team.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are really excited about it, and it is coming up on the 25th of August, and you can learn all about it on our website.
Yeah, I've never played, but because I wasn't sure how the workout was, but now that I've talked to people, everybody's like, "Nah, it's pretty good." Keith's a regular player, and Ramon, and they're like, "No, you get a pretty good run." So I may have to pick it up because it does look like a lot of fun. But player or not, you can go. And again, it's the 25th, 4 to 7. And if you're not familiar, well, if you've gone to the jockey basketball game, same spot. Saratoga Rec Center over on Vanderbilt, literally like 4 blocks from the racetrack. So put that on your agenda for the dark day coming up on that Monday, the 25th. And again, benefits Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga, Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund. So all goes to a good cause and a lot of fun. Part of the social scene now in the 2nd year here at Saratoga.
Yeah. Awesome.
And social scene also, do you guys have things lined up for the remainder of the year? I know last year you had the Bacon Brothers concert that was in the fall, and you have things that are coming up that we can look forward to past Saratoga.
Yes, we have to have things to look forward to after this ends. Those of us who are local and live here, and it's a great place to live all year long. And so actually, thank you for asking. We actually do have our single largest fundraiser of the year is something we do in September. So after all of the racing fun and games and hoopla have come and gone, this year will be on September 27th. And for those fellow children of the 90s, we are bringing the spin doctors to the farm at Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. And they seem as excited, I don't know, maybe not as excited as we are, but they seem pretty excited about it. They actually did the post that announced when we had the dates selected. And so the spin doctors are coming, and we are thrilled to pieces. There are tickets on sale right now for that. There's also sponsorship opportunities, and we really do kind of create a pretty cool vibe out there. We want people to come enjoy the farm. So you're having a concert with horses. Literally, the horses are watching the concert too. We have 3 food trucks. We have a beer truck. We have our friends from Old Tavern Farm Winery there. There'll be silent auction. It is pretty fun, and it is September 27th. So mark your calendar.
And I should have pulled up some pictures, because we were talking about it last year, and I had some pictures of the event that I maybe had pulled up from your website, but it looked like a nice, a late summer night out there with a bunch of friends and new friends, and it looked like a great event last year.
Yeah, it was really fun. It is a great way to share the farm. We are lucky to have a place that we can welcome. This year we're expecting like 500 people, and so we hope you'll be one of them.
Keep that in mind. We'll mention it again before the meet ends, and then in September we'll hit on it again as we get closer.
Great.
Before I let you go, though, I wanted to talk when you sat down. I said, you want to talk about your trip a little bit? You said, sure. And you said one of the reasons, because I wasn't here for a while, and we missed Kim in the beginning. Where's Kim? People are saying to me. And I said, Uganda, of all places. Yeah. So fill us in a little bit on your sojourn on the other side of the world to kick off the summer.
It was awesome. Yeah, well, it was an amazing adventure. I was very, very fortunate to participate in a program organized by a local organization called the Giving Circle. The Giving Circle is based here in Saratoga, and they have a 20-year relationship with 2 primary schools and a clinic in Uganda. And so every year they organize volunteers, or they invite volunteers to go and to try. My role was to just try to be helpful. Half the trip were doctors, and they are actually very useful. So there were actually 3 Kims on the trip. This is my favorite thing. There were 3 Kims. There was Kim 1, who was in charge of everything. She's like the founder. Kim 2, who's a doctor from Nashville. And then Kim 3, who talks a lot, waves her hands, and just tries to be helpful. That would be me. But my gosh, it was an amazing adventure. I would love to talk at length about it. I will not do that this morning on your show, but I will say that it was a joyful experience to go to a place where people have very little and are very grateful for what they receive, and to go with people who want to be helpful. It also, just as much as we love our bubble, and I love this bubble, so it is important to remember, like, it's a big world out there, and that we all are actually much more the same all over the world than we are different. And that's certainly some of what I learned on the trip, but I just loved it. We were, as it said, helping with 2 primary schools. So we brought suitcases and suitcases of clothing. So all of our luggage was dedicated to clothing that we brought, and then we just all came with us carry-on. That was very liberating, actually. And then we spent 2 days with the clinic, seeing families, and I mean, hundreds and hundreds of families coming through the clinic. And a lot of what I did is run around and make a fool of myself. I actually taught all the children in the school the Macarena. I'm really good at the Macarena right now. I'm better now than I was when it was actually a thing, but it was very fun. I also taught all the kids a little bit of Spanish, because I love speaking Spanish. So we had fun, and we shared joy, and I came back with even more joy. And I would love to talk to anyone about Uganda and the Giving Circle if you ever want to know more.
Yeah, that's great. I did not see the Macarena fitting into that whole story, but very good. And I haven't heard all. I got to get a little more info as well, because we missed you here at the beginning, but we knew you were off on a nice mission like that. So congratulations on that. And happy to have you on and spread the word for people who maybe want to get involved with the organization for trips in the future. Yeah, that may be another thing to think about. Sure. But certainly wanted to have you on and talk a little Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. Pickle for the Ponies coming up in about a week and a half. Should be a fun event, benefiting, again, THS and PDJF. So keep that in mind on the 25th. And again, things going forward as well. Don't forget, you can visit the website for more information on Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga in general and all the events they have coming up as well. Kim, appreciate the visit. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And it's been fun seeing it buzz around the track after having missed you the first week or so. And we have plenty more time to enjoy.
Plenty more time. Let's let it go slow and enjoy every day. Thank
Absolutely.
you, Seth. Loved it.
Thanks, Kim. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, again, I have a couple of video pieces we'll drop in, and then Keith McCalmont will join us. We'll take a look at the King's Plate and talk a little Saratoga as well. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. Yeah, as I said at the top of the show, I've had a couple of videos in the can, so to speak, as we say in the biz, that I wanted to get to before we got too far away from the event. We'll kick things off with Chad Brown. This was, when I was on the handicapping show, I wanted to say a week and a half, but it's essentially 2 weeks now, 2 weeks from tomorrow, Whitney Day. Sierra Leone wins the Whitney, and then in the winner's circle afterwards, Chad, most post-race interviews with trainers, they're, hit the basics for the print people who have their microphones out, and then, boom. But this was, 5 or 6 minutes of Chad kind of explaining, what the race means to him. He had his whole family there that day, and being a local guy, the Whitney and the Travers have always meant a lot. And then talked about Sierra Leone, potentially to the Jockey Club. We'll hear that. Somebody asked, do you think Sierra Leone now the best horse in America? He addresses that. So it was an interesting interview that I thought was worth showing. The first little bit is a little loud because we're kind of fighting with the replay, the sound of the replay. The sound gets better after that, though. But I wanted the beginning because he talks about his family being there, which he reiterates a little bit later. But right now we'll head to, again, in the winner's circle, right after the Whitney victory by Sierra Leone, trainer Chad Brown.
Travers and the Whitney, those two races in the Roman and Catholic region, that's really everything else about Saratoga is built for those two races. To finally get one of them with my mom and dad here here with my kids and my brother. It's an unbelievable day for us as board members. Then again, he's running in the highest level races. You know, when you talk about running in the Travers and the Belmont Stakes and such, he does the very top. And he ran well. I never really, the more I looked at his numbers, I never really was sold on that he doesn't like the track. I just think he hasn't won. Some of his fastest numbers last year was 3-year-old were actually at Saratoga. He just didn't get it done. But, you know, as you saw in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year and today, he's a full-rounded, fully polished, fine-tuned, high-level racehorse now. Yeah, I was happy with it. He was quite far back, and I knew that when those horses were stopping out the center of the track, that he was going to have to go inside of horses and catch a lot of dirt. What we know about the horse now is he's really an outside, long outside run horse, like he did in the Breeders' Cup, like he did in the Derby nearly won. So for him to cut the corner and catch a lot of dirt, it's not really his preferred way to pass horses. It's out in the clear. For him to do that and still make up considerable ground and then get out, you know, with a blinkers full of mud, you know, and dirt, and get there, really remarkable run by him. A lot of heart.
You've had a pretty good rivalry with Pierce. Even more special to beat him in this particular race.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying to beat all the horses, and I mean that sincerely. I mean, he's a top level horse. Some questions came at me this week, and I can only speak for myself and on behalf of our connections. Is you got to beat them all. I respect fierceness. I respect mind frame. Like I said, this is not the WWF. This is not people racing. This is horse racing. And I don't make it about me. It's about my horse and my team, and the brave jockeys that rides a horse like Flavian. And you know, you got to beat them all. And Highland Falls, here's a nice horse that's proven over Saratoga. You know, top connections. I mean, leading owners, leading trainer, and this horse really won. So this was a deep race. I respect fierceness a lot, but I went into it knowing there's more than just in the beat.
Is he the best horse in America?
I think right now, after this, you'd have to say, when you really look at his body of work, you could say that everybody knows that run the horse out. Wow. But anyway, so it's not like, well, he's just getting going. Well, all my horses are. And the New Orleans race was just a throw out. I think we know all the reasons why. But the race at Churchill was very good. Mind frame is one of the top older horses in the country, for sure. And he just ran a little better than that. I don't have an excuse. But my horse is third race in the form cycle. He ran good. And, you know, it's a division with some real, and the 3-year-olds are good. So, you know, this is no walk in the park to get back and defend the Breeders' Cup Classic when you had horses like Mind Frame and these 3-year-olds like Journalism and Sovereignty. I mean, there's always top-level fresh horses with top connections. Always.
Even what he did here today, would you consider the jockey for both?
I would, because he hasn't run that much this year. And last year, I handicapped the Travers until the Classic barely. That was the absolute maximum layoff for me, and he was able to pull it off. This is a little further away now, so I'm not sure I want that many weeks in between races with the horse only run 3 times. I'm not afraid of running the horse. I'm not afraid of having to do it again, because I have a lot of time from the jockey. So if it comes out of it sound, I do plan on going. Growing up around here, like I was just saying in a previous interview, I mean, really the Whitney, the Travers, is what the whole race meet has been built around, you know, since the early days. So for me to finally get one of them with my mom and dad here, my brother, both of my daughters here, just memories will last forever. And this is a really, really hard race to win. And you got to have the right horse. And I know I think a lot of people, the team, but I think ownership too. I mean, I have to circle back to that. I mean, I've had this horse now since he's 2, but I can't forget. This was a sale topped in Ireland from across the street at the sale that's going to happen Monday night. They couldn't give this horse to anyone. And the horse landed in my barn. And they had a lot of confidence in me, in my team. They stepped up and bought the horse and made the decision to send him to us. And they've let us manage the horse the whole time. And to bring him back. And to bring him back at 4. Thank you. And so they deserve a lot of credit. Good sportsmen. They also, I read the article earlier about fierceness. They left a lot of money on breeding this horse after the Classic, more than the other horse. So for them to do it, Dave, thank you for mentioning that. They're real sportsmen, and I'm so appreciative that they've helped create this day today for me and my staff and my family.
So again, it was a nice interview in the winner's circle after the Whitney, where, you know, Chad said I hadn't given up on Sierra Leone at Saratoga, where he was 0 for 3, but it was an 0 for 3 going back to last year. The Belmont Stakes, a 99 buyer, a third behind Dornock on Mind Frame. Jim Dandy second behind Fierceness with a 102. And then the Travers at 109, third behind Fierceness and Torpedo Anna. So Apologies. We had a little freeze up there, and so it took us a little time to unfreeze, as it were, but that moves us along in the show. And again, we'll get to the Javier Castellano tape. Maybe I'll plug it in tomorrow because I'd like folks to see that as well, as he broke the losing streak and then went on. He's done very well since breaking the losing streak with Bring the Band Home a couple of weeks ago. Had a nice weekend at Colonial last week. Went 2 for 2 yesterday. So again, we'll show that Castellano tape at some point. But as promised before the show, or early in the show, wanted to talk a little King's Plate tomorrow, and who better to talk to than our friend Keith McCalmont. I said, when I teed you up top of the show, I said, been at NYRA in the press office for quite a while now, but you were our man when we made the trips up to Woodbine for quite a while.
Yeah, it was always great to have you guys come up, and I feel like you learned a fair bit about our trainers and our riders, although looking at this weekend, it looks a lot very New York.
Saratoga-ish, there's no question about it.
You got Johnny V on the favorite. You were just talking about Javier. He's got a really nice chance in the plate as well. So there's a New York flavor to this. So as I'm losing my Canadian accent, the Woodbine speaking very New York this weekend.
Yeah, you miss it?
Yeah, I miss the people. I do miss big race days like the Plate and the International, which always bring, good races and good horses. But nothing compares to Saratoga, and, it's a dream to be here. It still doesn't feel like work. Don't tell my boss.
And talk before we get into this, and we'll hit on some Alabama up here at Saratoga as well, but just talk about the meet so far. You guys in the press office, I know it's kind of a year-long thing. Once the meet ends, there's planning for next year as well. And I know, springtime, you guys are already kind of planning. So I know it's a busy time up here, but as you kind of alluded to, a lot of fun, great racing, and weather was a little funky early. It's turned around the last couple of weeks, have been great. So just overall, a little perspective on what we've seen at Saratoga this summer.
Yeah, it's been different, right? We've had 9 extra days. I think each of the little meets we've run up here have had their own flavor. We had the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival, of course, and Sovereignty, a huge highlight of that, establishing himself as the leader of the division. Never bet against Bill Mott on big days, and especially when he gets to prepare in his own backyard, and all his decisions have proven correct. The July 4th Racing Festival was a little teaser to this meet. The weather improved a little bit over the Belmont Festival there, which was great. And now into the 40-day meet proper here. We're cruising right along. Business is going well. We are in line with last year and within our budget. So from a business perspective, it's been a good meet. And I just think from a horse perspective, having Sovereignty on the grounds, we were spoiled last year with Torpedo Anna as Horse of the Year here all year, and she's back here again. And Sovereignty's putting together one of these Horse of the Year type campaigns as well. Obviously, Travers next weekend is huge. And then there's the big year-end test, should they make the trip. So you feel like you're watching the best of the best week in and week out here. Yeah,
we just saw an interview, because I had it in the can for a while now, an interview with Chad after Sierra Leone with the Whitney, and it was asked about Jockey Club Gold Cup. He said, possibility. I'm not afraid to run him. And he ran very well. The older division has been very good this year, and that Whitney kind of demonstrated that. So that added to the summer as well.
Huge. I think Sierra's probably got 2 races left with the Jockey Club and the Classic, and then off to Ashford Stud, I guess.
Although, as Chad said, congratulations to the owners for bringing him back as a 4-year-old. And that's what has made this older division so important this year, or so potent as compared to last year. Last year's 3-year-olds turned into nice 4-year-olds and kept going.
Yeah, and got another weekend to come here with the Travers to see who might step up, and the filly division could be wide open depending on if Torpedo Anna puts her A game back out there. So,
and we'll talk to 3-year-old fillies in just a second, which looks like a lot of fun in the Alabama. But let's start out. Let you go home a little bit to Woodbine and the King's Plate coming up tomorrow. 9th race on the card, $1 million up for grabs. Always a fun race. We had Mark Cassian a couple of days ago, and he has the favorite. And I pulled up a replay going back to going back to the Woodbine Oaks. It is No Time. Vasquez, who's back on board tomorrow on No Time. I think the deserved morning line favorite, but plate trial produced some nice runners that are coming back. What's top 3 out of the plate trial? Notorious Gangster, Scorching, and Sudbury's Ghost. Also, Danny Gargan brings in a runner from Saratoga and Mythical Man for Dean Reeves. Ashley's Archer is another Cassie runner. We just saw No Time win the Oaks. I think it's a fascinating addition of the King's Plate. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, this feels like a very wide open race to me. In terms of people wondering about a filly being the favorite in the race, 39 fillies have won the plate. It's been 166 runnings. It's the oldest continuously run race in North America. So you've had 39 fillies. 2 of the last 3 years, filly has won. And Mark Cassie has won this with fillies Wonder Godot and Lexi Liu. So not out of the realm of possibility. You have no qualms about betting a filly in the race if you like her. Her time in the Oaks was faster than the boys in the plate trial. So there's plenty to like there. I do wonder a little bit about, the pedigree side with her. Is she more a mile type horse? Is that extra, little bit of distance going 1.25 miles, is that going to hurt her? So we'll see if she can pass that test or not. But No Time is from the same family as Count Again, Ransom the Moon. Ransom the Moon, very nice sprinter. Myself, I've landed on Tom's Magic in this race. This is a Mike Stidham trained horse who's out of a mare named Dixie Chicken, who was trained by Catherine Day Phillips, friend of the show, who produced Dixie Moon, who won the Woodbine Oaks a few years ago, and also a plate trial winner in Guy Caballero of SCTV fame. And Tom's Magic does not have any synthetic racing on the form, but has trained over it in the last fall at Turfway Park and again at Fair Hill through the spring. I talked to Stidham about the horse, and they've been pointing to this race. They're very, very high on how this horse is going to perform on Saturday. There's one bad race on the form, and that's at Keeneland, where he didn't like the soft turf. So if you draw a line through that, I think it really stands out as a top contender in this event.
I like that. And yeah, you mentioned Catherine Day Phillips. She had that whole string of SCTV named horses. As an SCTV fan, I appreciated that. But yeah, I think Tom's Magic is a little bit interesting coming out of that win in the stake at Monmouth last time. It's, as I say, a fun edition of the King's Plate. We'll take a look at the EP Taylor in a second, then we'll take a look at the King Edward, because when you sat down, you said there's a little pick 3 that involves these 3 races, right?
Yeah, so they're offering a $5 minimum pick 3 called the Kings and Queens. It's the King's Plate, the King Edward, and the EP Taylor, which that's the filly grade 1. So there's your queens of the Kings and Queens.
7, 9, and 10 makes up that
Correct.
sequence. Races 7, 9, and 10. Let's take a look at the 7th, 9, the EP Taylor, 7th race, the EP Taylor. I pulled up the replay of the Diana up here, where She Feels Pretty looked very good late, but gets run down. She Feels Pretty, the really nice runner for Cherie Duval, the number 1 horse. Excellent Truth for Chad Brown just gets up in the shadow of the wire, but I think She Feels Pretty is very interesting tomorrow. Caitlin Her Greatness, one of the aforementioned filly winners of the King's Plate. She won last year. Literate for Marty Drexler is interesting. Charlie Appleby brings in Diamond Rain. What were your thoughts on the EP Taylor?
She Feels Pretty is a standout on numbers here for sure. You do always have to be aware of Appleby horses when they ship over. Appleby's horse Diamond Rain won a poly track race last out, but is from out of a multiple Group 1 winner in Dancing Rain, and is a half to a dual Group 2 winner in Magic Lily. There's plenty of pedigree there. But for me, Roger Atfield on plate day is someone you always have to pay attention to. Ready for Sherrill is out of Perfect Sherrill, the 2011 Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf winner. She has produced nothing but good horses. Sherrill Spite comes to mind. The second dam in that family is Lady Sherrill, who actually won the EP Taylor. For me personally, if I digress, 2011 Breeders' Cup, went down there to cover for Woodbine. Perfect Sherrill at 26-1, but Roger told me the week before she's not going to like the wet turf. It dried out all day long. Here comes Perfect Sherrill. Blanket finish, 4 wide, gets up. I think Johnny V was up too. The next day, Breeders' Cup Mile. 2 previous Woodbine Mile winners are in the race. Tour Allure with Julian Leperoux at 11-1, and Court Vision, last race of his career, 67-1. I was probably the only person to speak to Del Romans about Court Vision that day. I went with Tour Allure, and Court Vision got up in the last stride. Leperoux, if you watch the replay, pumps his fist thinking he won the race, but he lost it on the photo. The $2 exactor paid $2,000. I should have retired after that Breeders' Cup. I should have been bankrolled for the rest of my life. Needless to say, short story long, I've been chasing these perfect Shirl progeny throughout, and Ready for Shirl is a horse who Roger is convinced will appreciate the added distance, going 1.25 miles, likes that turf course, and obviously has the pedigree in the family to do it. So if you're looking for an alternative, why not take one on dual Hall of Fame trainer Roger Atfield?
I'm glad you brought it up because I had circled that win in the Canadian last time, and I, like you, I thought that this horse would be very interesting. Again, Roger Atfield and the breeding and whatnot, one of the Shirl horses, and so I agree that horse is very, very interesting. And finally, again, in that pick 3, you talked about what's the name of it?
It's the Kings and Queens.
Kings and Queens. I like that.
Yeah.
And I have made the mistake because I've mentioned the race a couple times this week, and I'm about 50% getting it right with King's Plate. Is it taking you a while to?
Yeah, I've gotten rid of Triactor and Exactor from my lexicon, but Queen's Plate still sticks in my mind, and I've been corrected by Mark Cassey while here, and amongst others. Cassie's interesting, by the way. He's actually staying here this weekend. You know, he's got 2 in the Alabama. The King's Plate goes off 10 minutes before the Alabama, so I think I'm going to be standing in the paddock with him, watching on our phone or something.
That's he said. He said it's the first King's Plate he's missed in X number of years, but he's got the 2 nice runners in the Alabama, so not shocking by any means. And let's take a quick look at the King Edward as well. Grade 2 event for the 3-year-olds and up, going 1 mile on the grass. I pulled up a replay, an allowance optional claimer, June 22nd. Winner's going to be Simcoe, but running second, number 6, War Strategy. I thought that one was a little bit interesting, as are most runners up at Woodbine for Mark Cassey. Safi Joseph bringing in, ran at Woodbine last time, has been training there, but Safi has Public Sector, Lucky Scores, another Mark Cassey runner. Cruden Bay, I think, comes in with some really good numbers. What were your thoughts on the King Edward?
So this one, I reached out to our friend Ron Gearkank at the Daily Racing Forum to kind of get the scoop on this one. Cruden Bay is coming off a significant layoff to win the Connacht Cup last out. Huge number, and apparently this was a changed horse with the time off. He got injured training up to the Woodbine Mile last year. They gave him time. So the only question here is, will he bounce off that number? So in Ron's eyes and myself looking at it, Cruden Bay is a likely single on this card, but if you were going to beat him, there are a couple options. One that I really like is Gas Me Up for Kevin Attard. This is a horse who's climbing up the ranks. He's completely unexposed on form, but it's from a well-bred Sampson Farms family, and Flavian Pratt picks up the mount. So this is a horse on the improve. He's 2 for 2 over the E.P. Taylor turf course, which is probably another thing worth mentioning. Woodbine has 2 turf courses. The E.P. Taylor turf is on the outside of the main track, closest to the grandstand. And it's actually going to be the last time they run on it this weekend, because they're going to do some renovations for the next year. But they also have an inner turf course. So make sure you check those little designations when you're handicapping, because horses that thrive on that outer E.P. Taylor course, there's a horse for course angle there for sure.
And I saw Woodbine mentioned with the renovation going on the turf course, they've moved post times on Thursdays and Fridays going forward after this weekend. They'll be a little bit later. So for folks who play Thursdays and Fridays in Woodbine, keep that in mind. Do you have another one that you were going to toss out there?
I think Dresden Row is a nice horse in that race. I'm a little concerned that its form might be a little bit better on synthetic, but this is a horse who's in career form coming into the race well, and I like it as a bit of an outsider to Cruden Bay here.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose 2, it would be Gas Me Up and Cruden Bay.
All right. So you got a logical, and one offers up a little bit of a price. And you mentioned it earlier. I mean, Flavian Prat, Castellano, Lescano up there, Johnny Velasquez. It does have a very New York Saratoga feel to it coming up. And again, Mark Cassie, obviously always very dangerous up at Woodbine. And again, I knew nobody better to talk to about it than Keith. We got it right sitting in the backyard in the press office to get some good insights on what was it, last year or 2 years ago, where on the undercard you tossed out a very nice one to us.
That was Silent Poet, and we could say maybe it's 2 years ago, but I'm afraid it might be 5 years ago.
Really? As I was saying that, I'm thinking, was it 2? But I'm always mashing. Okay. But it was a really good call. And just before we let you go, we'll do a little New York conversation, because we've obviously talked about it a little bit with Mark Cassie in the conversation. I'm looking forward to this. Field is 6 schedule, but I've been on Lacara since the seasonal debut down at Tampa, where Mark was in the winner's circle, kind of touting her going forward. She's kind of lived up to it. Nitrogen, to me, is just super interesting. Having mostly a turf career, but in the off the turfer, seemed to take to the dirt okay. Margie's Intention, I think if you're looking for an upset, I went back to Good Cheer, just going back to the Kentucky Oaks. The Acorn looks like an aberration. So I went there, but Mike Welch mentioned it, and I'm totally scared that Lacara will just float on the lead and take them all the way around.
Yeah, this is probably a really well-matched field. It's, looking through a grade 1, I don't see like the triple-digit buyer figure that sort of pops out at you as somebody here is head and shoulders above the crowd. Lacara on the outside post is controlling speed. They're going to have the run of the race. I don't think anyone else can keep up. So then distance becomes the question in that final furlong here. Does she get the distance or not? A horse who I've followed a little bit this week since arriving on Friday is Queen Azteca, who arrives from Norway for Niels Peterson. This is a Hall of Fame family going back to Personal Ensign. She won the UAE Oaks in February. She is huge. I watched her go out with the pony, and she's bigger than the pony that was supposed to be looking after her. She has no early foot, really, but she's got a big kick. She wants every part of the distance, and she's cutting back from 1.5 miles where she had a really, really wide trip and still stayed involved. So as it applies to stamina and a race here on a tiring track at Saratoga, she might be one that can come and pick up the pieces. I think Lacara is probably your likely winner, but if you're looking to spice up the exotics, Rosario and Queen Azteca is probably a good option. The interesting thing about Queen Azteca too is Johnny Velasquez was supposed to ride this filly when they made the announcement. So that he's gone up to Woodbine to ride No Time in the Plate is interesting as well, because he could have rode here.
And I didn't know what to do with Queen Azteca, and Mike Welch yesterday kind of thought the horse mentioned that one. And again, as you said, it's a Kentucky bred. But I said yesterday, we were talking about this horse a little bit. I said, when was the last time, if ever, the prior start to a Saratoga start was in Sweden? I'm thinking maybe never, but I think a lot of people will overlook the horse because of that, coming in from Sweden. But as you mentioned, won the UAE Derby or UAE Oaks this winter, which typically gets a pretty good international field. So she's interesting in an interesting field.
Yeah, there's a lot to suss out from this. Does Nitrogen transfer the form to dirt? Does Good Cheer come back with an Oaks-like performance? We'll see, but I think this is a ripe for the taking kind of race, because there is no head and shoulders.
As you mentioned, there's no triple digit jumping off the page here, so it's going to be fun, as it is every Saturday and pretty much every day here at Saratoga. As I say, Keith in the press office, keeping us up to date. Every day I print out the daily recap, and we hit on some of the highlights stats-wise every day. I appreciate the work you put into that, and everybody at the press office, where, as I say, it's fun, but I'm sure when Labor Day rolls around, you're ready for a little rest.
It's a well-earned week off when the time comes, but the races keep rolling.
Yeah, so. And looking forward to a nice weekend. Weather's supposed to be nice, another nice States weekend, highlighted by that Alabama. But again, don't forget, tomorrow also up in Canada, Kings Plate, Woodbine. We're really knocking the wood that the weather holds up there, because last year was things got a little funky up at Woodbine with the weather situation where they had to postpone. When you sat down, I'd forgotten they postponed it to the next Friday last year.
Yeah, it's been a few interesting years with pandemics and other things shifting races around. But based on weather apps this morning, all will go swimmingly.
And I will mention, Mark Cassie made an interesting point about shifting. And again, we used to go up for the Queen's Plate every year. Now we go Woodbine Mile, which is after Saratoga. We used to go before Saratoga, but with the pandemic, the King's Plate now moved to the middle, and so we're here and can't make the trip up there, so we missed that. But Mark said the change maybe made it interesting for fillies like his, because the timing was better if you ran well in the Oaks. Mm-hmm. It's better timing now maybe to the Plate, so that may play into like Caitlin, her greatness timing. I don't know if she was she in the Oaks last year, but fillies overall, I think Mark made a nice point.
Yeah, and it's showing. I mean, 2 of the last 3 have been won by fillies, and it's historically a good angle.
Yeah, it's different than here with fillies in the Kentucky Derby, which are far rarer up there, not so much. So don't be scared away by the favorite tomorrow from Mark Cassie. No time. Keith, appreciate the visit. Keep up the good work. Pass it along to everybody in the press office as well. Appreciate it, and we'll talk again.
Thanks, Seth.
All right, we'll head to a break. Well, we'll wrap it up, but we will head to a break. But we'll wrap it up for a Friday edition of Racing Across America. Again, always appreciate your tuning in. If you're coming up, you're looking forward to a really nice afternoon here at Saratoga, so enjoy it. If you can't make it, stop by the racebook or just play from home, and stay tuned to the network all afternoon, and tune back in tomorrow morning when we will be back at 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. Racing Across America. So stay tuned.
It's been referred to as possibly the best equine-themed gift shop on the planet. Impressions of Saratoga. Impressions of Saratoga, celebrating the Saratoga and equestrian lifestyles. It's your #1 choice for Saratoga souvenirs, apparel, and gift shopping. We have gifts for the entire family, and we're pet-friendly too. Visit us online at impressionssaratoga.com or come on down. Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway, downtown Saratoga.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bonaventure Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in the private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bonaventure Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer. Wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.